Hey everyone, I'm here to do a live reading of my latest book release, which is out today, Fairy Tales and Nightmares. It's part of the launch day festivities happening over in my Facebook group, AF Stewart's Minions. And today I'm going to read you a part of one of the short stories in the book called The Sleep of Death. This is my version of Sleeping Beauty. Anyway, so let's get started here. All right. Once, beyond the facade of perception and impermanent memory, past the stone spires and the shadowed forests, a solitary kingdom existed within the leeway of time. Nestled deep within the mountains, a sovereign castle towered against the crisp sky and housed a grandiose court steeped in whispers and magic. Haunted by the night wolf's howl, it stood as a bastion against the malicious and the benighted, a beacon against the tick of the midnight hour. Yet even within this stalwart protection, darkness crept among the cracks and murmurs waiting for an opportunity. For it came a time, with joy drifting among the buds of spring and the warming wind, that a princess was born, and the kingdom rejoiced. Such splendid fortune of a sweet-tempered and beauteous child, dark of hair and fair of smile, her soft green eyes always happy. Beloved by all, guests flocked to her naming ceremony, the celebration attracting nobles and princes in their gilded carriages, diplomats and courtiers with their words and manners, all to gaze upon the princess and bestow their finest gifts. They feasted and drank and gathered in the throne room, extolling toasts to the wondrous future. However, amid the splendor, one uninvited soul, a shadow servant of fate and fortune, arrived on the breath of the waning moon. The air stilled at her entrance, frost circling her skin as the light dimmed to a dusky hue. Floating across the marbled floor with a swish of black cloth and lace, she transfixed every eye and silenced the chattering voices. Hushed breaths waited, attention riveted towards the throne as the creature moved to face the king and queen. In her cradle, the baby whimpered. The king demanded, "Who are you? How dare you interrupt our celebration?" "I am but a messenger of little consequence, but you may call me Ruzenza. I bring you a gift for your child and a warning." Looking towards the child, Ruzenna smiled before she spoke. "Great evil stalks the princess, tainting her life in blood and death. When this babe reaches her 16th year, a curse will fall upon this kingdom. Beware the child of doom." Thunder shattered the sky beyond the castle, booming against the wind, rattling the windows, and a burst of sizzling magic illuminated the throne. Amidst the screaming distractions, Rosanna drew her shining sword from the fabric of air, slashing downward to slaughter the child. A hair's breadth from success, she screamed as another blade, the weapon of a king's guard, ran her through. Rosanna stumbled against the cradle, and with her final breaths, she touched the edge of the baby's forehead. A symbol of a briar rose thorn etched itself into the child's skin. Thus, once upon a darkened heart, began the story of Briar Rose. End scene. Now we get a new scene. One bright spring morning in her 16th year, after a long and tedious breakfast, Princess Briar Rose snuck away from her pampered existence to roam the castle. Stifled by the royal rule, she fled to the old eastern tower which beckoned with its mystery and illusional promise of hidden secrets. Warnings of rotten disrepair only kindled her curiosity and the thrill. So, with the need to explore tickling her senses and prickling her skin, she set out to have an adventure. With a light step, dark curls bouncing on her shoulders, she skipped along the brightly painted passages and climbed the stairs to the oldest part of the castle to be met with reality. Wood creaked beneath her weight, and her dress snagged on the rough walls as ancient dust stirred against the wooden stairs, her footsteps scraping up puffs of grime. She coughed from the detritus, and grit filthied her skin as she steadied herself on the banister. Her adventurous impulse seemed less appealing the further she climbed, but pride held her from retreating. Subsequently, she wandered into an unused sewing room in the last attempt at salvaging her escapade. Sunlight from the arched window spun against the plastered stone walls, open shutters letting in a warm light that illuminated the nearly empty room. No spinning wheels or spindles greeted her, just a handsome, dark-haired man. He sat in a plush chair by a table next to an open bottle of wine and two glasses. "Hello, my dear Briar-Rose. I am Andre. I've been expecting you." Bereft of speech, Briar-Rose stared in fear and wonder, and the thorn-shaped scar on her forehead itched. Her mind screamed "Run!" but she remained rooted in the open doorway. What should she do? Her parents never allowed her to be in the presence of a man without a chaperone. This was an adventure she had not yet sought. Who is he? Why is he here? How does he even know me? Is he a suitor? That thought titillated her, while the powerful impulse to flee still plucked at her. She stared at him, appreciating his rugged beauty, and his eyes held her in a mesmer's gaze, her soul drowning in their deep blue ocean. "Come to me, my Briar-Rose." His husky voice shivered her skin, and her feet moved without cognition or will. The stranger beckoned her into the room, and she went to him, the door swinging shut behind her. Andre laughed, a soft, satisfied lilt, and her breath caught in her throat. "He is magnificent." Andre poured wine into the glasses. "Come, sit, my sweet girl, and drink with me." Her shoes scuffed against the wood, and the princess settled into the chair opposite the stranger, her fingers curling around the glass. Andre stroked her hand, his touch ice cold. Briar-Rose jerked her hand away, jostling the glass, a shaft of fear slicing through her. "I shouldn't be here. I need to go." Yet she didn't rise, every muscle rooted to the chair. "Nonsense. You will do as I ask." Andre smiled, and she compulsively reached for the glass with stiff marionette movements, drinking the wine. Its sweet taste infused her with a warmth and a somnolent languor that drained her fear. All she saw were Andre's sapphire eyes and the fullness of his grin. Reaching out, he caressed her chin, tilting her head ever so slightly. "Will you allow me a kiss, Briar-Rose?" She nodded, leaning forward to taste his inviting lips. It would be her everlasting mistake. Okay, so that's the excerpt from The Sleep of Death, my take on Sleeping Beauty. You can also find fairy tales retold in here from Snow White, which is set in feudal Japan, and is basically what would happen if the Wicked Queen fell in love with Snow White. The choice of kindness is based on The Little Mermaid, only much more murdery. Red Wolf is a Celtic version of Little Red Riding Hood with the Morrigan as the wolf. Violet Brides is my version of the Bluebeard saga, and it's a gothic ghost tale. Thieves and Slaves is my version of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, and that one has been reset to ancient Rome, the ancient Roman Empire in Turkey. And The Witch's Apprentice is my Hansel and Gretel take. Winter's End is a sequel to The Snow Queen, and Cruelty is my version of the Baba Yaga folklore. So there's Fairy Tales and Nightmares. It's available now on Amazon and wide retailers. The ebook, the print version is only on Amazon right now. It will be wide eventually, hopefully next month. But I hope you pick up a copy and enjoy it. So thank you for listening to the reading, and bye for now.